Hi Taurus and Taurus rising, this is your April 2017 forecast. So this month your ruling planet Venus stays retrograde until the 15th of April. I discussed the significance of Venus retrograde last month, so please click on my March forecast if you want a refresher. Mercury will be going retrograde this month as well, from the 9th of April until the 3rd of May. So effectively for the whole month of April, Mercury will be retrograde. So that's what I want to discuss this month. So Mercury retrograde, what does it mean? I mean, Mercury rules the mind, communications, it's how we learn, speak, it's traveling. So how we travel, our mode of transport, how we communicate, our mode of expression. And when Mercury goes retrograde, typically a number of things happen. You know, Mercury is that trickster energy. On a higher level, it's the divine messenger. And on a more subtle level, it's also the trickster energy. So this can tinker with our keys, wipe out information from our phone or from our computer, which is why it's always a good time to do backups. And also, items can be misplaced, and traditionally it's not a good time to start new business. And also one has to make a special effort with important communications, making sure other people have understood you, so that the main gist of your message has been accurately downloaded on the other side. So these are just some things that we want to watch out for. More specifically, let's look at where Mercury is going to be retrograding in your chart. So Mercury is going to be retrograding in the first and second houses. So until the 21st of April, Mercury is retrograding in your first house. So in the first house, this is about how we approach the world, it's about image, it's about presentation. And with Mercury retrograde in the first, sometimes you can find yourself tripping over words, so the wires can cross a little bit, so you may want to say one thing and it comes out another way, so having to be a little bit more careful in this respect. You're also a lot more conscious of how you present to other people. But Mercury retrograde in the first, this is also a good time to reacquaint yourself with yourself. So it's self-knowledge that's going to help you during this period. Self-knowledge that's going to prepare you in terms of presentation to others, in terms of confidence in what you're communicating. So if you know your mind, you can better articulate what's on it. So from the 21st, Mercury will go into your second house, retrograding there. And Mercury retrograde in the second, what does that mean for you? So with Mercury in the second house retrograde, you need to review expenses. It's time to check your bank account. It's time to maybe open a savings account. It's time to pay overdue bills. With Mercury retrograde in the second, it's also when you want to avoid new major purchases. So making a budget, monitoring expenses, opening a savings account, not a spendings account, but a savings account could be a good idea at this time. So, but with Mercury here, you can also expect sometimes delays with money coming in, but also unexpected money can come your way. So here, it's really about finances and getting your financial affairs in order with Mercury retrograde from the 21st onwards. So let's look at the placement of the other planets this month. The Sun is going to be in your 12th house until the 20th of April, and the Sun goes into the 12th house in that period building up to your new birthday cycle. So the Sun in the 12th house is typically a time of retreat and renewal. It's when you recharge your batteries. It's where you contemplate the year behind you in preparation for the year going forward. So, you want to look at your attachments. What are you holding onto? What do you want to get rid of? So it's all about planning and preparation for when the Sun moves into your first house. So what are you going to do with that energy? Where are you going to take, it's the time of new beginnings, and it's the natural ending of old cycles as well. So typically not the best time to start new projects, but finishing old business. And here's the quandary. While the Sun is in your 12th house, Mars is actually going to be in your first house. And when Mars is in the first house, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of productivity happening. So I think it's going to be a bit of both for you. On the one hand, it's going to be reflection and review, but there's going to be a lot of action. I mean, with Mars in the first, this is great for activity, hard work. So, you're really able to assert yourself, you're more confident, you're able to take the initiative. So Mars in the first, it's really putting you in a position where you can showcase your talents. Mars is that planet of energy, drive, and ambition. So with Mars in the first, there's the ability to get a tremendous amount done. So this could probably be best applied to finishing old business. So really kind of taking care of everything that needs to be taken care of. That high physical energy means with hard aspects, you have to be a little bit more careful of accidents. But in general, it's a period of upbeat, independent activity, and you're able to get a lot done. So, like I said, some pause, reflection and renewal on the one hand, a bit of quiet time, private time in the midst of all this activity for you. So, but from the 20th of April, the sun moves into your first house. So now, of course, the sun is in the first house, and this is the start of a new solar cycle for you. So happy birthday, Taurus, for those of you who are having your birthdays in April. So this is all about the rebirth of the self. This is the start, like I said, of a new solar cycle. And the first house is that house of personal identity, appearance. It's about outward behavior, how other people perceive us. And with the sun in the first, this tends to be a very good placement for health, vitality, vigor, and also for projecting confidence, self-assertion. So with the sun in the first, you're also more in tune with your inner identity and purpose. So you're really in tune with your needs, wants, and desires, and able to really push to get ahead with those things. So the start of a new solar cycle happening for you. So as I said, Mercury will be retrograding through your first and your second houses. And for most of the month, well, pretty much for all of April, Venus is going to be in your 11th house. So Venus in the 11th house, of course, retrograde, it could have connected you with old friends and acquaintances. So, bumping into people from your past, looking up people from your past, and people from your past looking you up. But Venus in the 11th will be going direct from the 15th of April. And Venus in the 11th is really the best placement for fun times with friends, with groups. It's a good time for parties, for entertaining, for enjoying the company of friends. While Venus was retrograde, you may have felt a little bit socially aloof at times, a bit more withdrawn than usual. But with Venus going retrograde again, it's really time to connect, time to get out there, time to make connections, time to enjoy the company of friends and group activities and endeavors. So Venus in the 11th makes you very sociable, it makes you very affectionate and generous. All types of group setting and encounters are favored. So with Venus in the 11th, this helps you present very well to a group. So you're able to kind of present yourself in a way that really endears others towards you. So very good for business proposals and presentations. Okay, so for some of you, of course, with Venus in the 11th, friendship could blossom into something more. So I've discussed Mars in your first house until the 21st of the month, but from the 21st, Mars will go into your second house. So Mars in the second house. Mars here puts its energy into financial avenues and ventures. So Mars on the one hand here is very focused on finding new sources of income, making money. But of course Mars here is quite rash with the purse strings as well. So some impulse purchases can be made. This is also the house of what we value. So Mars's energy here is looking to bring more of what you value into your life. So there can sometimes be clashes or disputes over values, but in general what you have to watch out for is, on the one hand, you are very driven and motivated to make more money, but on the other hand, you're inclined to make impulsive, rash purchases. So just be a bit aware of that, especially with Mercury retrograde. It's not the time for big, important investments. So hold off a little bit on that kind of decision making. So let's look at what else is happening this month. On the 5th of April, we've got Mars trining Pluto from your 1st to your 9th house. So Mars in harmonious aspect with Pluto, this is all about creative energy. So courageousness, self-assertiveness. So Mars and Pluto, these are like planets of power. So there's a lot of energy, surges of energy. So this is very good for determined efforts, for the pursuit of ambitions and objectives. It's really going to give you sustained energy. So a lot of oomph to get things done. So here it's all about advancing drives and ambitions. So on the 8th, we've got Venus still retrograde squaring Saturn. And for you, this is happening in your 11th and 8th houses. So Venus and Saturn in difficult aspect can show inhibition with regards to emotions. It can show chilled affections as well. So here you could find one of two things happening. Perhaps you'll find that a friend has disappointed you, so you take a step back and you're feeling a little bit more aloof and detached. Or because Saturn is in that house of joint resources and monies, you could find that there's some type of financial strain or loss happening under this influence. So on the 9th, we've got the Sun squaring Pluto from your 12th to your 9th house. And the Sun and Pluto in difficult aspect could very often show power struggles, also extremes of behavior. And with the Sun in your 12th house, this can really show a certain intensity in experiences. You can find yourself swept up with energies that are beyond your control. So maybe feeling a little bit overwhelmed at this time. Can also show ego trips and conflicts. Like I said, some power struggles. So you may find yourself dealing with people who are on a bit of a power trip. So on the 11th of the month, we've got a full moon happening in Libra in your 6th house. And the 6th house is that house of work and health. So this is a very good time to do a health inventory and a work inventory. So it's all about, there's a lot of culminating energies happening, a surge of emotional energy with the full moon. And here in this house, this could give you that kind of revelation or impetus to start a new health program, to kick certain bad habits, so doing things to improve health and work situations. So reorganization, planning around health and diet, planning around, work circumstances, a bit of ordering, restructuring happening there. So very good energy for restructuring and reorganizing health and work situations. On the 17th, we've got the Sun trining Saturn between your 12th and your 8th houses. And the Sun and Saturn in harmonious aspect is very good for serious subjects, serious concerns. So hard work with regards to ambitions. And with the Sun in the 12th house, this is very good for discipline, study, research, project that you're working on your own. So on the 20th, we've got Mercury retrograde conjuncting the Sun at 0 degrees Taurus in the 1st house. So this is just prior to Mercury moving into your 12th house. So the Mercury and the Sun together really brings mental focus, and particularly at 0 degrees Taurus for you, this is going to show a sharp mind, concentration, you're kind of clear on your mission purpose. It's also good for trade and commerce, and definitely for being articulate, for communications, even with Mercury retrograde, so perhaps revisiting important subjects, reasserting a kind of mission statement. So this favors learning activities, movement, travel, adaptability, and when Mercury and the Sun come together, this can sometimes also bring good news. So on the 24th, we've got Mercury trining Saturn from your 12th to your 8th house. And Mercury and Saturn is very good for serious subjects, for detailed work, things that require your attention. So this aspect definitely favors more boring work or tedious work, if you will, unless of course you enjoy that sort of thing, which is great, lucky you. So for accountancy, for budgets, particularly with Saturn in the 8th, this is a good time for budgets, for accounting, for, working out those sorts of things that are less inspired at times. So this can also show travel for a serious purpose or the need to speak or study to advance your career objectives. So of course, this is the new moon happening on the 28th in Taurus, the new moon that you've been waiting for, because of course this new moon is happening in your sign and in your 1st house. So that 1st house is the house of us, bodily in the world, so very good placement for health, vitality, vigor. It's also great for personal reinvention, particularly with the moon here. So this could be about a new look and a new you. With the Sun in the 1st house, it tends to be a busy time of year, so you're out and about, you're making connections, you're, following up on things, you're starting a new cycle of productive activity. So a very good time to kickstart all sorts of new incentives, make connections, improve your image. With the Sun in the 1st, one tends to feel a little bit braver, so it's a good time to get out there, try something new, enjoy new experiences. So like I said, good for robust health, energy, and activity. And of course, like I said, with the Sun in your 1st house, you're more aligned with your true identity and purpose. So very able to kind of pursue your objectives. So with the Sun in the 1st, it tends to be a more selfish time of year, but that's as it should be. It's really the time for a new personal cycle to get off the ground. So use the energy. So the month ends with Mercury conjunct Uranus, and this is going to be in your 12th house. But of course, the problem is that with Mercury and Uranus together, you're feeling restless, you're feeling agitated, you don't want to sit still. But of course, Mercury in the 12th, very good for a study of new subjects, so inspired study, research. These could be around self-improvement for you. So unexpected opportunities to travel may come up, or again, some exciting news. If you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for listening. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can visit my website at www.psyche.co.za to book a consultation. Thanks again.